Hello friends, Dark Vortex 7 here, and today I'm making a response video for Jason Scott. Jason wanted to know what joints I had used for my custom battle scarred gouf. He also wanted to know what kind of paint I'd used on the watch and whether I had sanded the figure down before applying the watch to it. As you can see, I used the joints from the Mogonock figures. These figures are very rare and expensive, and the only reason I used it was because I had one that was completely damaged, so it was very easy for me just to take the joints from it. I used the leg joints and I used the arm joints. As you can see, that is what I used on this figure to give it that mobility that it so much requires, so much needs. Same thing with the leg joints. Now, if you're going to do this, it's going to require a lot of custom cutting. The figure itself has no mobility, so a lot of cutting went into it. I used a hobby knife in these areas right here. And there we go. So, just a quick comparison. A lot of cutting did go into this figure. Blue and not as precise as I wanted it to be, but it works. As far as the waist goes, I used a ball joint, and oh, my camera does not want to focus today. Here we go. Ball joint. The cables, I used the cables from the beam sword of the Epion just to give it that added mobility. So it's going to require a lot of work to get the joints in there. Same thing with the head on a ball joint. A lot of work went into this figure, so I made this a few years back, and it's still one of my favorites. So as you can see, it very long time to make, to figure out what parts to use and how to get them to stay there. As for the paint, I used, let's see if you can see this. This is the kind of paint I use, Tamiya acrylic, and I use X19 Smoke, XF1 flat black, and I use a mixture of these paints with a little bit of water and shake it up, and it gives you this dirty wash. The smoke paint actually tends to stick a little bit better than just a regular flat black, so it just gives it kind of a smoky, dirty look to it. If you want to integrate a little bit of metallic look, almost as if the paint was scraped and you have the metal on the bottom, you could use a little bit of gunmetal X10. And I only use this for certain figures, mostly when I'm painting guns and I want to give them that metallic, dirty look. So that's also an option. X10 gunmetal, X19 smoke, and XF1 flat black. The way I apply paint to these figures is that I used a miniature portable fan, and once I have the mixture complete, I kind of use one of these brushes, dip it in, and you just kind of go around the figure like this. As you're going, you want the paint to dry, but you want to keep moving it as the paint is drying, so that it gives you that dingy, dirty look. This is something that I'm currently working on for a friend, and same technique. He actually likes to sand the figures down to get the paint to stick on there. You can do that. I prefer to use acetone or a little bit of paint thinner on the PVC plastic, because what it does, it gives it a little bit of a friction, and it helps the paint stay on there just right. It will rub off eventually, as you can see these parts right here, But if you have the paint, if you have the wash, you could just touch it up every so often. It never really comes off completely, but if you want to, you can give it a light sand. I don't do it often, but you want to sand it down just very lightly right here, which is where the friction on this figure is. Everything else, there's really no problem to it. As far as the paint goes, that's what I use. Technique. This is kind of brush that you want to use. Just apply it to your heart's content. You can go very light like this one. You can go darker like this one. And sanding, I think sanding works. I don't use it. I only use it on the friction areas to kind of give the consistency of the figure, and it, acetone works very well. Do you want to keep it off any parts that were painted, because it will smear the paint off the figure. So with a damp cloth, you can use it and just apply over and over and over. And then you want to wash the figure with some water, a mild soap. There's something that I use called Awesome, and you could probably get it like at the dollar store, and that stuff works amazing. It gets any kind of oil or dirt off of it, and it just helps very much as far as custom figures go, and cleaning them up. So that is what I use. I hope you find this video useful, and I apologize, I don't make too many videos, so it's not going to be the best. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will gladly answer them. All right, have a nice day.